Boom, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to PokeMarket Lab. Today we're going to go through and look at Journey Together today. We're going to get a 1 week update on this set. This released last Friday, the 28th of March. And so we've had a week here, a little early to kind of make any full determinations on the set, but we can certainly get a look at where everything is. So let's look at the enhanced booster box first here on TCG Player. We're seeing some steady sales. It's expected that we're going to see a drop like this. We're seeing a sales volume drop. Release day, 270 boxes sold, and obviously now we're down to under 100 per day. Completely reasonable. I think the issue here with this market price of 216, I don't think it's going to stay there. I don't think there's enough support on this set to really justify a high price. Remember, pre-release, this was selling for about $250, which is Surging Sparks level, and this certainly, just from a set card artwork standpoint, is not a Surging Sparks. So I think we have some room to drop here on booster boxes. At minimum, I think we're going to hit that $200 line, maybe a bit less. There's a lot of boxes listed here, over 2,200 boxes. Total sales for booster boxes were really strong pre-release, so I think this was kind of front-loaded. I think there's a lot of people out there who assumed the market would continue and bought as such, meaning chasing $200 to $240 booster boxes. And I think you're going to see a lot of capitulation in the market now, trying to turn and burn boxes before this drop continues. So I think you're going to start seeing a little bit of price action, a little bit of fighting as this goes down here. So if you held the line in the sand at MSRP, as I was suggesting that everyone did, that I think you're kind of making out here. I think that's always the safe bet. And again, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are disappointingly have to sell product here at a loss or breaking even, and thought the market would continue its march upward unabated. Looking at Pokemon Center ETBs, these did drop significantly here. They were pre-selling for over $300. Do we actually have anyone sell that? This is broken. This should... yeah, this is not the correct chart. Anyway, these did take a hit in price. This is to be expected. Remember, on release day, no one can really, you can pre-sale these. Stores can pre-sale these, but they don't have access to large quantities of these. They have the same chance at getting these as you or I do. So typically on release day and the few days after, you're going to see most of them come to market as people try to, flip these and get some quick money on it. And it is a good way to get some quick money. It's just not very scalable. So we saw this in Prismatic Evolutions too. So these will march back up. I think it's a good looking Pokemon Center box. Again, I don't think it's a fantastic set. Solid set. There's a good promo card in here, good stamp promo, which I think will do well in the long term. Regular ETBs, people were crazily spending $120 on these pre-release, which was absolutely nuts. Again, I was pretty cautionary about that. And I think there's plenty of room for these to go down. I think these will probably end up around $60 here in the next week or so. I've seen so many restocks or pictures of people hitting up targets for restocks. We're plenty of Journey Together, either ETBs, bundles, or check lane blisters or 3-pack blisters. There seems like there's plenty of product out there for Journey Together. That, or just the demand is not there. I think we got to wait for things to shake out a little bit, but do not spend, I wouldn't even spend $75 on a Journey Together ETB. I think it's far too expensive. I don't think this set justifies it. I think the print volume is there that you shouldn't have to pay this price. So if you can, I think it seems like people are checking one or two stores and then they end up finding some. So I think the scalpers are probably getting pretty hurt on this. I mean, if they're spending $50 at a Target to pick up an ETB here, there's not much room with shipping and fees here to make much profit trying to arbitrage from one system to another. Booster bundles, I've said my piece on these. They're printing a ton of these. And I don't think that's any different here in Journey Together. Over 1,800 listed here. Probably a lot of arbitrage that's happening. Quite a few of these have sold already. So again, we're seeing quite a significant volume of booster bundles being produced these days. And then again, lots of 3-pack blisters here in check lane blisters. I've seen a bunch of these come in stock on various websites, including Target and Walmart. So plenty. Again, I think there's plenty of product out here. And I think within a week, this is going to be the first set in a long time where I think you can pretty easily pick things up, pick up boxes at any big box store, just walking in and grabbing them. I think the opportunity for scalpers and flippers to be able to make money on this set is within the next week or so, it's going to be gone. All right, now on to some singles here. We've seen quite a bit of a reduction in singles prices across the board. Now, this is not weird in the Pokemon hobby. It's weird for the bull market that we're in right now, but what we've always seen for years, this has always been true, is, for the most part, is a set comes out and the supply of singles hitting the market with cheaper boxes means there's plenty of opportunity for cracking. There's plenty of singles on the market, and singles prices drop. Well, we're seeing that here again. And I think that's reflective, number one, of the pull rates. And I just don't think the demand's quite there. I think we can, solidly say at this point, confidently say at this point, I just don't think it's a blockbuster set. And again, we saw that in the booster boxes where people were assuming it was going to be hot, but I don't think anyone stopped to look at the cards and say, okay, from an investment or flipping standpoint, is this set going to rock post release when everything starts hitting the market? Is arbitrage going to be there? And it's certainly not there in the singles. I don't think there's anything to spec on here. I think it's a fine set. There's some good cards. Even there's some stuff that I like in here, but it's not going to be a Destined Rivals. It's not a Surging Spark. So Lily's Clefairy here, down 37% in the last month. Only 60 copies here, only 150 copies sold in the last month. I think this has some room to continue to run down. Salamence here, probably one of my favorite SIRs. Same thing, down about 47%. So, pre-selling for $230, and that's just cut almost in half here. Pretty big drop. Looking at Enzuraric here, again, down about 49%. I'm seeing some consistent numbers here. And I hope that people weren't out there. I hope that the single sales pre-release are not people specking that it's going to continue to run up, that it was just people buying singles because they just want singles and they'd rather buy singles versus sealed and trying to chase that. But again, there's a lot of people just with money, it's the dumb money, right? Hobsassian, down 55% in the last month. Only 100 copies sold, $80 card. And a few other ones that I like here. Articuno is down 22%, sorry. Plenty of these here on the market. And, what's going to happen? The question now is, are people going to continue to crack this set? So there's this fight that happens between, okay, the singles prices, if there's enough demand, natural demand for the singles prices start to go up. Well, typically what's going to happen is it's going to cause people to crack the boxes unless the boxes are too expensive. When you have a $250 box like we had pre-release, well, it's kind of hard to make your money back unless you're opening lots and lots and lots of boxes. Even then, you may not. So now the question is, the singles are starting to drop. There's certainly not enough there on the single side to support those box prices anywhere near 200 even at this point. Actually, I think it would make, from a value standpoint, 200 about would make sense where we're at from a singles value standpoint. We'll go over that in a second. Whale Lord, my favorite card probably from the set. It's on my pickup list. I was going to wait for this to drop a little bit here. It is dropping a little bit. I think probably pull the trigger now. I think that makes sense. This is like my one must-have card from the set. Actually sold really well. Actually bumped up a little bit from the lows there. Really, really solid card. I love that one. And then I wanted to look at the stamp promo cards. So this one's interesting because these are only from, as far as I'm aware, only the enhanced booster box. It's the only place you can get the stamp promo. We know what stamp promos have done in the past. Problem is, again, everyone who's, especially big LGSs who are cracking hundreds of booster boxes, well, what happens? They get hundreds of these stamp promos and then list them because they want to get, as much money out of that box as possible. And again, I think the box topper was included because they thought the set was probably weak and they wanted to push it up. But remember, when companies do something, the only way they're going to do something is if they think it adds value. In some way, shape, or form, it has to equate to the bottom line. They're not going to take on a cost for no reason whatsoever. They're only going to do it if they need to, or they're going to get value at it. Either they have to fix a product, or they have to, you get a bad set a set that needs a little oomph to it. That could be a reason to use that box topper. So I think that's what happened here. So a lot of booster boxes opened. Obviously, not everyone opens a booster box is going to sell their stamp promo, and then even if they do sell it, they might not sell it on TCG Player. But certainly lots of these. I don't know how. I certainly don't think they're going to be considered rare at any time in the near future. All right, now we're going to look at the total value of all cards in the set and what's happened in the last week or so. So this, on the left-hand side, we see our full number of total value of all cards in the set. So it's every single card added up, the value of what it is on TCG Player at that time on release day, which is about $1,600. And again, we would expect that post-release we'd see a drop, and we have seen a drop of almost $600 here, down to about $1,000 in total set value right now. So to give you some perspective, obviously Prismatic's higher than that, Twilight's higher than that, Paradox is higher than that. I think the only sets that aren't higher than that, I believe, are Stellar Crown and Obsidian from a regular set standpoint. So, and that's going to, my guess, continue to drop. So again, if the value of the cards in the set, the total value of cards in the set is representative in any way, shape, or form of a vote on that set. I think this again is kind of, like I said before, kind of sort of in line with what a Stellar Crown is, at least to me. I know there's some people that absolutely love it. So this represents about a 35% drop in total singles value within the set in the last week. And if we go further and kind of break that down to where that loss is in each section here, obviously a huge hit to cards over $50. So what that means is, I should have done this in percentages. It would have been better representative comparatively between sections here. But yeah, you're losing a lot of value in the expensive cards because most people are, I think, probably picking up some of the cheaper cards, meaning that those values are staying, those prices are staying a little bit more stable on the cheaper cards. So that's our update on Journey Together today. Again, if you love the set, I don't want to disparage that. We're just looking at finances here. It's a completely fine set. I think the big picture item here, though, is, of course, Destined Rivals is just sucking the air out of the room. I think if this and Prismatic were flip-flopped in terms of release, it would have been a very different situation. I think the market was assuming some stuff with this set that wasn't true, especially folks that were assuming they were going to, buy $200 booster boxes and make a quick buck, which I don't think turned out. I think if you held the line on MSRP on booster boxes, I think that's the right way to go. I think that was smart if that's what you did. If you're chasing 2 to 250 booster boxes on a set like this, I just don't think you're stopping to actually look at what's in the set and where the value is. Destined Rivals is just taking everyone's attention, and that's going to be very, very true here in the next couple weeks. The Journey Together is going to have an extremely short lifespan and attention cycle. I think as we start to see previews in the next couple weeks here, because we're only 2 weeks away. 2.5 weeks away from Gloria Team Rocket release here in Japan, so we're going to get fully spoiled here at some point, and once we're fully spoiled, that'll be it. We'll know everything that's going to be in our Destined Rivals, and then that's it. Journey, no one's going to be paying attention to Journey Together at that point. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like what we're doing, of course, give us a subscribe. We have some membership tiers as well on the channel just to support the channel and eventually get some additional value and some members-only videos. And, of course, check out Sleeve TCG in the link in the description below. A awesome Discord community. A bunch of great folks in there just talking about the hobby, giving tips and tricks. And, of course, you get some monitors, some quick alerts to try to help you beat the bots and snag product at MSRP. Have a great Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on the next one. Pokemon Lab out.